Hi guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and today we are discussing I think it's the 10th or 11th episode of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, and I want to say in advance, I'm sorry for not posting. Lately I've been busy, and it's been a month. It really has. But this episode was me in a nutshell. So we left off in these discussions talking about how I was just barely accepting Josh and Rebecca as a couple again, and the moment they decided to become a couple again was the moment that Josh proposed to Rebecca, and I swear that therapist in that office was me. Then we come back, and Paula and Scott got divorced. Scott cheated on Paula, and Rebecca was babysitting her kid, and other stuff. And then we meet. Oh, yeah. I remember. We actually discussed this. Forgive me, I'm a little clustered about what my last video was on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. So we were discussing Nathaniel, who, by the way, is really one of my favorite characters on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend at the moment, just because he's so honest. And I love how he calls Josh the human flip-flop. It's awesome. And I love it. And I can't believe Josh proposed to Rebecca because that therapist was me, and she was finally seeing that maybe it wasn't so healthy for her to be in a relationship right now, that it was better for her to be alone at the moment and single, but she hasn't really been single. Well, actually, she's been single for a pretty long time. Actually, I believe she's been, through a few guys, and I think she's done. But I think her and Josh getting engaged just because her mother told him to really pissed me off. Not just because I don't like Josh and Rebecca as a couple, it's just that it just didn't really sit well with me, and it just makes me really, really mad because Rebecca was pushing through her issues, and she was gonna get the help that she needed before Josh interrupted and proposed to her. So, come forward to last week, and last week's episode was without a doubt one of the funniest Crazy ex-girlfriends I've seen in a while, hands down. I'm gonna recap that a little bit before I get into this episode, because there wasn't really a lot of things going on in this episode to discuss, so I'm gonna just play a little bit of catch up, because last week was hilarious. I totally love the fact that she doesn't like her boss, and that's okay. I mean, Nathaniel is an ass sometimes, and he really admits that he's an ass, but he got a lot better in this episode. There was a lot of character development for him in this episode, which goals. I totally love when a character gets developed like Nathaniel does. Nathaniel didn't only take a couple episode arc, which is weird because the season finale of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is actually gonna be on next week, and then a couple weeks from now it's gonna be on season 2 is gonna be on Netflix. So I don't know why they wanted to hurry up with the season. I guess they didn't really have a huge storyline for the season, and they really wanted a bigger storyline for season 3, I think. And I guess the losing of one of their cast members, which was Santino, who played Greg, really didn't sit well. I really hope he comes back for the finale. I really do. I know he's busy, but I really want Greg to interrupt that wedding, and her looking at 3 guys and hopefully just pick Greg because Greg is the best for you. And I'm still team Rebecca, hands down. I totally love those two together. In my mind it goes Greg, Nathaniel, and Josh because I really don't like Josh. No, actually. And then Trent's on the fourth because he's so creepy. He's so obsessed with her, and I don't really like it's like, I know Rebecca is obsessed with Josh, but that's too much obsession. Like, if you have two people that are equally obsessed, it's just like, no, it cancels each other out, and it's kind of disturbing to me. But last week's episode, I like to thank the Santa Ana Winds, because that was the best episode I've seen this season. And it, like, I think Rachel and Michael have such amazing chemistry, because it shows on screen as Nathaniel and Rebecca, because they could go from a hating relationship to feeling sexually attracted to each other, and it's awesome, and it's amazing, and I just totally love it. And last episode, it was awesome, and I just want to talk about probably one of my favorite songs of this season, which is Let's Have Intercourse, because I swear, it's like every fuckboy song ever, and it's amazing. And I totally love that Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is so real, and the chemistry between those two are off the charts. And yeah, he's still being disrespectful to her in this episode, because they had a sex dream about each other, and now they can't stop thinking about each other, and it showed in this episode, because on that elevator, they kissed. So Rebecca moved her and Josh's wedding from 2 years to 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And I had a friend that planned a wedding in 2 weeks. It was very stressful. So I'm like, oh my god. And I'm planning a wedding right now, and planning a wedding is actually very stressful, and I've had 9 months to do it. I didn't have 2 weeks. I have 9 months to plan it. And so far it's going pretty well for me, because I'm not that stressed about it like Rebecca is. So Rebecca's stressed out, and we're getting into this episode. She's stressed out, she's trying to find the right dress. She has a delivery man that she keeps confiding in. And someone told me that was Seth Green, and I'm like, really, that's Seth Green? That's awesome. I like that he actually agreed to be on the show just as some mail package delivery guy, and that's cool. I like that. He was actually a funny addition to the episode. So Josh and Rebecca are planning this wedding, more so Rebecca, because she's planning it herself, because Josh is busy with his church youth group, and I think he's about to have this fling with the basketball coach next, because Rebecca and Josh have this consistent thing to where they can't, be single without going to someone else, and that tends to annoy me a little bit. I get it somewhat, but at the same time, it frustrates me to no end that they can't seem to get over this obsession with the fact that they need to be with someone to have a sense of worth in themselves. And I get that they have very low self-esteem because of that's just the way they are, but that needs to be fixed. That needs to be established in season 3. Or even in the last episode, because it's the last episode next week, guys. This is crazy. I guess that's why they call it Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, because it's moving so fast like her wedding is. So Rebecca's planning this wedding all by herself, and she decides to copy the wedding of someone else. And her living room looks like a war zone because she can't pick. She's copying someone else's wedding, which I don't suggest you copy someone's wedding. You find aspects, even if you went on Pinterest, you find aspects of these things that you like, and you pick those. You make this your own wedding, even if you're copying someone else's idea. because you might like that idea, but you might like it in a different way, and that's just how Wedding Planet works. I can't tell you how many ideas I've got from Pinterest. If you're planning a wedding, I suggest looking up ideas on Pinterest, because that will save you, because it saved me, like, a ton. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I've had some ideas for my wedding, but I had so much more ideas for my wedding thanks to Pinterest, and I totally love it. Love it. I totally recommend for wedding, if you're planning a wedding by yourself, it's pretty cool. But another thing, I do love the relationships in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. They're awesome. I especially liked Nathaniel's part of this, but we'll discuss that in a little bit. Because poor Rebecca is running around like crazy. She's needing help. No one wants to help her. But the only person that I really don't get, there was only one person that had a valid excuse for not helping her, and that was Valencia, because I felt Valencia's pain at that moment. She dated Josh for 10 years, gave 10 years of her life away to this guy, and in the span of 2 months of dating Rebecca, he proposed to her, and that just totally hurts. And Valencia is not a bad person by any means. She's snobbish, and she's a little bit of an obsessive person. When it comes to marrying to, Josh. She was an obsessive person with Josh, but now she doesn't even seem to care about him, which I like. I'm glad that she's over him, because he was an asshole to her. I don't think he belongs with anyone to take that effect. I think he needs to take himself out of the equation of dating to see his faults. Faults just like Rebecca does, because we all have faults in relationships, but there comes a time when we have to admit that we have these faults, and I think that time for Josh needs to come soon. I know it's supposed to be an anti-rom-com, but I really need these two to just get it together a little bit. Just like a tiny bit, not like even, maybe have one thing set them off and say, hey, we need to change this. We need to work on a relationship before we jump into anything we might regret. And I need that to happen, because it's driving me crazy. You guys, it really is. Okay, so we're getting to the Nathaniel part, because Nathaniel makes himself sick with a kale smoothie, and it's the first time we ever see him be remotely human, besides whenever he's with Rebecca, because he's just this robot, and then Rebecca, he at least teases a little bit because he likes her. You could tell he likes her. And that he's now attracted to her. So he's trying to untox his body and keep it pure because of the thoughts of Rebecca, and he gives himself food poisoning. And it's hilarious, because we see Nathaniel having the farts and having the shits, and just being a normal human being for once. But the thing that really bugs me is that he has a father that only seems to care about a couple things, and that's how successful you look. So my heart goes out to Nathaniel. When his dad came in, and I was just like, oh no. Oh fuck no, please. Don't tell me that's his dad. And of course it's his dad. And he comes in where Nathaniel's having a nap, because of course he's tired. And I really like how people tried to help Nathaniel in this episode. It was really awesome. But it's not my favorite part with Nathaniel in it for the episode. And then his dad comes in and says he's extremely disappointed in him, and we'll talk about it later when he can breathe through his nose again. And of course Nathaniel's disappointed. He really hates the fact that he listened to the fact that he needs a man nap. By the way, man nap, funny song. I was just all over here the songs are man this week. week. I didn't really find one that I really enjoyed listening to. It was just like, okay, I'm just gonna listen to this. But Rachel has such an amazing vocal range. Vocal range that's ridiculous, and it's kind of awesome. It's really awesome how versatile these actors are with their singing voices. They could do anything, and it's awesome. Awesome, and I love it. So we're going. Of course, Rebecca gives up because she's stressed out. She has no one helping her, so she gives up. And of course, Valencia is the one to step up on this. We'll talk about that in a second. So, of course, Rebecca goes to work because she thinks it's the only thing she's good at, as well as napping, and she's all like, not even my parents are helping me with this. Like, my mom isn't helping me with the wedding, and my dad's not even coming to my wedding. And he's all like, whoa, your dad's not coming to your wedding? And she's all like, yeah, he's like out at some rig in Alaska, which now that I think about it, sounds like a lie. And he's all like, he's seriously not coming to your wedding? And then you can see, I knew from that moment that he was gonna find some way to get her dad there. And that's why I loved Nathaniel in this episode. But then, by the time he's going to answer her or respond back to her question, Valencia comes in holding this wedding book and says, here's my wedding book, here's what you need. You're not gonna plan this person's wedding, you're gonna take my wedding. And then Valencia has trouble letting go of the book, which I don't blame her. It's like, it was like she royally got fucked over by Josh, and I wish that they would actually, like, I really want Valencia and Josh to have a moment next episode, because he fucked her over pretty nicely last season, and I really want him to actually apologize to her for that, because she did give up a decade of her life for this guy. For him not to even care or even be remotely upset about the fact that they broke up, he owes her at least a little bit of an apology for that. And I really wish they would have that conflict resolution next episode, because he needs to own up to his shit, especially now that he is actually exploring a side of him that he's never seen before, because he hasn't really been to church or anything. And he's having this new religious experience. Well, part of religion is forgiving others and having others forgive you. Or is that, I don't know if it's actually religion or just human common decency, but I really wish they would actually do that conflict resolution. So Valencia says that she's not going to let Rebecca touch this wedding because she's going to plan it for Rebecca. And I gotta say that Valencia is an awesome wedding planner and even awesome friend, that she could rise above the situation that she was in no less than maybe 3 months ago to help her friend. And that was an amazing turning point for Valencia. She is now one of my favorite characters in the show, and I wish they had more of her, honestly. She's just having so much character development here. And then, of course, Rebecca and Paula are at work, and Rebecca's mom sends her her address, and she's all like, oh, I didn't think my mother was gonna do anything. And then we have a flashback to Paula calling her mother a disgrace. And can you not help your own child? You better get your ass to a boutique and buy her, like, the best wedding dress possible, because you owe her that much. And you cannot call yourself a mother if you don't at least help her a little bit. And that was an awesome Paula moment. It really shows how much Paula has Rebecca's back. No matter what. And I totally, like, it's awesome. I love their friendship. They are friendship goals, to be honest. And I like heart, big shaped heart all around, and I just love it. It's awesome. And yeah, it was a really good episode. But the best part for me about this episode was the fact that Nathaniel brought back Rebecca's dad, because that's what he knew she wanted. She wanted her father there no matter what. And that was such a great moment between those two characters, because of course Nathaniel knows how she feels having a father that's kind of absent and doesn't really care about you, but you still wish that they would love him and you still want their support and love and their validication. And it's a really sad situation when kids are in that situation. And I really hope Rebecca at least, brings that up a little bit, because Dreamghost showed her the fact that her mother was actually the one who stood up for her to her dad and said, "How could you abandon your fucking child?" That's what I like to know. You don't get to make that call, and you never get to come back, and this is for her own good. Oh, good, and yada yada. And I love Rebecca's mom somewhat. She's not like the perfect mother, but at least I'm glad she's trying. I'm glad she's actually trying to be a better person this season. And it's refreshing, honestly. I like it a lot. And then we get the end scene, which is Valencia making Josh and Rebecca their wedding website, and then Trent sees it and like, well, I guess Trent is gonna disturb their wedding, which, any interruption of their wedding I would be fine for, because I'm not down for them barely dating for like a month before getting married. I think it's a little too fast. I know people do it and they've been together for years, and it works for them, but I do not think that it works for Rebecca and Josh, because they're not well-rounded people at the moment and they need to work on themselves first. But what do you guys think? Do you think this marriage is happening a little too fast? Do you think they're gonna get married? And can you wait for next week's episode? Because I, for one, can't. I want it now, but it's a week away. Ugh. But that is it for today, guys. I will talk to you next week. And I promise to try not to skip another week. No promises though, because I probably will. Well, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!